Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very festive edition of the Stately Office Hours. This is where us, the team at Stately, give you updates on everything that's new with Stately and with XState. I'm going to start, as we do most weeks, with introduction to who we've got here today. So I'm Laura, and I do advocacy education for Stately. David?
Hey, I'm David, creator of XState, founder of statelyai.
And Gavin, aside from being a Santa agent.
Yes, hi, I'm Gavin. I'm a Stately's resident Santa agent, making sure everyone's been accounted for, whether they've been naughty and or nice. When I'm not doing that, I'm often on the back end, working as an engineer or talking with our customers, getting some direct feedback.
I think our community has been very nice this year. That's why we're giving them lots of gifts.
100%. I'm full of coal here that I can't give out.
And Nick.
I'm Nick, and I work at Santa's lab in the North Pole, the Stately division, doing product design.
And last but not least, Kevin.
I'm Kevin, and I don't believe in. I work in engineering. I believe in Santa. Santa's great.
Well, I know where the coal's going.
So as I mentioned, we have a huge amount to share with you. We just thought in the run-up to the holidays, let's not let everyone go without having some nice gifts that they can put under their tree. So David, let's start off with something that we've mentioned in previous streams when we were talking about XState version 5 and how you can migrate across from using the old visualizer. That will be the visualizer you find at stately.ai/viz. And we've been talking about how we're going to make Stately Studio have parity with the features in that viz. And this is the next step, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Actually, let me just start this off. I'm going to generate a machine, the process of Santa delivering the presents. But while I do that, since it might take a few seconds, let's play a game. So I made this Tetris game. I adapted it from another project, and I just wanted to see how well it would work with XState version 5, and it does work pretty well. And games are actually a really great way of playing around with state machines and XState and actors, just because there's so many different things happening. But now when I reload this game, you're going to notice that we actually have this view over here, which is you probably are familiar with Stately Viz, and this is our Stately Inspect version of that. So long story short, we are updating the visualizer to be directly in stately.ai with a whole lot of new features. And so right now, I'm paused, so I'm just going to press P. And so now the game is playing. So I'm actually not very good at Tetris. My strategy is just, I don't know, I make like these tall structures. It's not very good. And let me go ahead and pause the game. But yeah, what's happening over here is, of course, we have, you could see that we're in the pause state, but we have Tetris, powered by a state chart. And so you could see all of the different events that we could do, including the assigns and raise. This is experimental, by the way. So we're just, we have a lot of things planned for this. But on the right side, if I could zoom in a little bit, you also see, and this was a pretty frequent request, which is you could see an actual hierarchy of actors. So we have this main Tetris root actor and these two other actors over here, space key, which is listening for pressing the space key, and the timer, which is responsible for just coordinating how fast the game goes. And this isn't a simple timer. This actually increases as you keep playing and move up on the levels. I just learned that. Like Tetris is not at the same speed. It goes faster and faster. I've just never been good enough to experience higher levels. So there's also another thing over here. Actually, let me go to events. What's happening is we have a new package called statelyai/inspect. And this is going to give you all sorts of events for what's happening between the actors. We do have a lot of improvements coming in this area, but we have 3 types of events. We have snapshot events, which tell you, hey, the actor received an event and transitioned to this state. We have events, which is this actor sends an event to this other actor. And we have actor events, which is just a way of saying, hey, I exist now. I am an actor that was started. We have timestamps over here, and we have, you could see pretty much the full state in here at any moment in time. But the thing that I'm probably most excited about is the sequence diagram. And so there's a lot of events that happened here. But when you are working with actors in an actor system with actors talking to each other, it's actually important to see how they're communicating with each other. So you could see that we have events from external, which means they're not coming from an actor. They're coming from some user input or something directly sent to this main Tetris actor. But we're also invoking the space key actor and the timer actor. And so these actually aren't state machines. So they're just shown like this. And so I did press a space key. And so you could see that we have an event key.space with an arrow going from space key over to Tetris. And yeah, so you could see a few of those events over there. You could click on any of these to go to the state chart. And this is completely responsive as well. So yeah, that in a nutshell is stately inspect. So if you want to get started, yeah, you could go to, let me just take you to the repo over here. It's a little bit of a different syntax than xstate inspect. So what you would do is you would install statelyai/inspect, and you import create browser inspector, which is pretty much the normal one that you would import. We do plan on having support for a WebSocket inspector, which will allow you to inspect state machines from anywhere, server side, React Native, whatever you want. And it will give you an inspector because it's create inspector. And the inspector has an inspect method over here. This is actually an observer that you pass directly into inspect when you create the actor. So no more magical DevTools true. Instead, you just pass it directly in there. Now, there's a reason why it's called statelyai/inspect instead of xstate/inspect, and that's because this API is still in the air, but that's because you could actually inspect anything. So we're sticking true to our goal of you being able to visualize any app logic, whether it's written in xstate or not. So those three events, actors, events, and snapshots, you could actually emit at any time from anywhere in your app, and it will visualize at least a sequence diagram for you. So you could dynamically create sequence diagrams from any sort of application. And since these are just normal events, it's very possible for, say, Gavin to make a .NET version like an SDK and have that communicate via WebSockets to Stately. And yeah, you'll see your sequence diagram. So yeah, that was a lot.
Cedric asks, is it already available? Is Stately Inspect already available?
Yes, so this is public. It's already available. The version, I will warn you, it's version 0.0.11. And that's just my way of saying I could change the API however I want until it reaches like a 1.0 milestone. So it is experimental, and we hope to have it stabilized by next year, but you can use it today.
So you can find that at github.com/statelyai/inspect. Sorry, Gavin, go ahead.
No, I was just saying just how exciting it is and how excited I am to see this come to, a point where, we can demo it live for the audience, for the community rather. I am so amped about it. I want to be able to take this and put it on long running like back-end processes. Like for instance here, it'd be nice to know if I'm doing a long-term report generation or something like that, like where in that process I am, and be able to just look at a nice visual and go, oh, okay, A, B, and C happened already. And I'm just waiting on this thing that, typically takes a long time, or, we know that it doesn't take that long. And we can also know that if it hallucinates for any reason, well, we can see all the events leading up to the explosion, So it'll be so cool to see this on the back end. I'm very biased.
Yep, that's our goal. We want to enable the usage of our tools with anything, back end, front end, chatbots, workflows, background jobs, whatever you want. And of course,
So
Stately Sky.
Of course.
Oh, and speaking of Stately Sky, the person behind Stately Sky has also been doing a huge amount of work on the next feature that we want to share with you, and that is GitHub Sync. Now, the Anders, who has been working a huge amount on GitHub Sync, is unable to be here today. And so, Kevin, you are going to do the honors and show us GitHub Sync, which should be out very, very soon, shouldn't it?
That's right, Laura. Thanks a lot. I'm really excited to talk about this. So I'll try to do justice to speak on behalf of Anders, who's actually been leading the project, as you said, and then also Nick here, and I have been actively contributing in terms of design and engineering, respectively. So first of all, I just want to say that we've been working on different forms of basically GitHub Sync for a while now. Right. So if you recall, many months ago, we released a version where we can import a machine from a file on GitHub directly by URL. Then we also released the ability to import all machines from a repo, also from GitHub via URL. And that's great. But now we're about to take this to like a whole new level. And we're on the verge of releasing full bidirectional sync between GitHub repos and Stately Studio. Now, this is going to be a pro feature for Teams user or pro features or pro users, and it's just packed with features, and I can't wait to show this. So let me just share my screen really quickly.
I don't know whether Florian's talking about GitHub Sync or Stately Inspect, but they say my dreams have become true.
He's clearly talking about seeing David in a Santa hat.
Okay, so let's see. So we can all see this, my projects. Now, again, we haven't released this just yet, so I'm actually running this locally. So that's why I don't have all the many dozens of projects that I normally have in Stately Studio. But this way we can focus here. So again, this is a very big feature, and we're only going to touch on some of the highlights today. Let's just dive into a demo, right? So you'll notice here that next to the Create Project button, we actually have this Connect GitHub repo. This feature is in beta, so we're actively working on fleshing out even more richness to the feature set. So if I click on this right now, then you see I get this modal, which basically says here's GitHub. You can create a connected project. So this is a term that you're going to hear maybe a lot, which is that we're creating connected projects to your GitHub repos. So the first step is to select a repo. So I'm actually going to just use the Xstate repo. You're probably all familiar with that to some degree. And then I get all the list of my branches that I have access to. So if I actually just type in my name, I can go to this branch here where I happen to have a bunch of, well, you can take a look at the file tree here. So you can see actually that I have the full file tree from the root. Many things are disabled, and what we're really looking for here are TypeScript or JavaScript files. And so you can see that some of these folders have actually, folders within folders. Here's a set of examples. And let's say I want to, so if you actually go into one of these, you can see that you have, all the source files. These things are TypeScript files and that kind of thing. So let's say that I want to just pick a few of these. So I'm going to pick like a snake maybe, and a, I don't know, stopwatch and a fetch and a toggle, let's say. Okay. And down here, you see there's actually this path for new files. So that's if I, and we'll get to this, but if I want to add any new files, then I can give this a path. So I can say, let's say new machines. Okay. Right here, you have a toggle for auto sync. And, really the best way to work with this is to keep everything in sync all the time with GitHub. So, that is toggled on by default. And then we have some links here, which actually, link directly to the repo and the branch for reference. So I'm going to now click Connect Repo. Of course, you can go back and you can change your selections as well if you want to. So I'm going to click Connect to Repo. All right. And here we go. So now we are in a connected project. So most of this looks the same on the surface, but I assure you it's much more involved actually, so in a good way. So first of all, we have the machines that I pulled in. We have, let's see, the snake machine, stopwatch machine, the toggle machine. We can see all of these here. And then down in the bottom here, we actually have, this is the xstate. Now it says xstate, but that's because that's the name of the repo. So it actually would have, a repo name. And then this is the branch that I'm connected to right now. And the other thing I just wanted to say, so about that is now that we have a connected project, we're able to selectively import, only the machines or only the files that we care about. You can still choose all of them if you want to and bring them all in like before. And the other thing is that changes that happen on GitHub, because we have that auto sync, they will be reflected here. Every time you open up this project, you're going to see any additional files or any changes that somebody else may have done and committed directly to the repo. That will all be in sync here. So next, I'm going to move on to really the meat of this, which is like, let's use the studio to edit these projects. So for example, let's say I go into this snake game, and I don't know, maybe for starters, I'll even just try to do like a layout here, which is actually pretty good. Okay, so
Nice.
let's say I want to make some changes. Yeah, this is not bad. So I want to make some changes. And David, I think you showed in your Tetris that you were like in a paused state. So I think that could be cool too. Let's say that you're normally just moving here, snake is moving on its own, but you want to pause to go grab yourself a sandwich or something. So maybe we add like a pause state. I don't know. Oops, let's see, paused. Okay, and let's see, this could be pause like that, and this we'll just go back over here and be resume. Let's say. All right, so we've got pause state and pause resume events. Okay, so then let's say that I want to get this back into GitHub. So I'm going to open up this, which is really your GitHub settings, area. And you can see this is the repository. This is the branch. These link out there for convenience. This tells you that you're auto-synced. And you have a little UI here where you can actually create a pull request. So then let's say I want to say, add pause state. Okay. Now, one of the nice things here is just like you're used to on GitHub, you can create a target branch. And we actually see all these other branches and things that you have here. So you can actually target other branches that you have. So for now, I'm just going to target the one that I actually brought in here. So just make a very granular update. And then you can add a description. So let's say need to pause the game. Okay. And I'm going to hit create pull request. And while this is happening, we can make a sandwich.
It
actually doesn't take that long.
You're answering Gordon's question of, can we make pull requests from this interface? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. In fact, so that's done, and it didn't take very long, right? So now we have this little toast. You say pull request created, click to open. So if I click this, and I believe I'm still sharing. Ooh, I'm not sharing the whole window. I was only sharing.
Only showing the tab, I think.
Tab. Ooh, okay, hold on. Let me try to fix that. 1 second.
Joseph says, my company is talking about moving from GitLab to GitHub. This might help them make up their minds.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so hopefully this will.
We get it back.
Okay,
looks great.
Right.
I can see a pull request.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was over here. There was a toast. I clicked the toast, and it opened right next door. Right next to this one, this tab, another tab with the add a pause state. And here's my description. Here's some automatic stuff about the changed files and things like that. So what we can do is take a look at the diff here. And you'll see that there's actually a layout string that changed here. And over here, you can see that we have the paused state. And then we also have a pause. Where are we here? Pause. Yeah, pause. Okay, sorry, they both look so similar. So pause event and a resume event going back to moving. There does seem to be a layout string thing here, probably because I clicked into one of the other machines and it auto laid out or something like that. So we can just ignore that for now. Okay, so now I'm going to actually go back here and I'm going to say, I don't know, let's say that, oh, I see that all these other events are, uppercase, shouty uppercase, right? So maybe I need to do that too. So I'm going to say pause, like a yell here, and we have to do here, resume, and sometimes don't you wish you sometimes just had like a way to just format all these different titles and stuff like that to be consistent. That would be nice. But anyway, so I'm going to do that, and then let's say that I actually want to make this a little bit more, specific. So I just want to say like game. Oops, but I don't want to like that. So game paused. Okay, so I've made some small change here, and okay, here's like another layout change or something like that. So if I go back in here, now I can still create a whole new pull request. Again, I can create a new pull request that just sort of supersedes the other one, or I can target a different branch. But it also recognizes that I already have a pull request open, and so I can just update the existing pull request. So that's what I want to do right now. So I'm going to update the pull request.
Huge.
All right, so pull request update.
Nice.
Click open. Yeah. So here, it is the same pull request, but now if we look in the diff, then we should see some shouty uppercase. We do. We see pause and resume, and the layout string has been updated as well. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to make some more changes. So, okay. So let's say I want to go into the stopwatch, but you know what? I'm going to like duplicate this machine. So I'm going to say duplicate in project. I still want to keep the stopwatch as is, but now I have this complete copy here. And you'll notice that it says stopwatch copy, and then it says not synced with GitHub. And I don't know if you can read this, but it basically says that these machines have not yet been synced with the connected repo. So it says please create a pull request to synchronize them. So I'm just going to do some light changes here. So I'm going to call this not stopwatch. And since it's called not stopwatch, I'm just going to delete the stop event. So now you can start this thing, but you can't stop it. It's a not stopwatch. Okay. So now I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to update the pull request.
By the way, I'm going to quickly mention that nothing stops you from updating it in the code directly, just like you normally would. So
yeah,
that's a good call out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it is bidirectional. So things are expected to happen directly from team members or from yourself, or you can even use the inline interface in GitHub to just to suggest things to yourself and accept them and whatever you want to do. And we can still sync this way too. So now if I just open this, let's take a look. Okay, so now I see 3 files changed, so that's a good sign. And we have snake machine, toggle machine. Okay, and then we have the new machines folder that I specified when we connected the project. And it now has the not stopwatch, which is its own file with a new machine.
Nice.
So yeah. And so then let's say if I go here, and then let's say that I'm good. And just like a responsible teammate, I'm going to allow myself to approve myself and just squash and merge freely here.
He does this all the time.
Okay, so then I can go here and basically, let's see here. I'm just going to refresh the page to show you. And all this should be. Aha, we have stopwatch and not stopwatch. All these are here. You go in here, you see we have no file changes, no pull requests, no pending pull, no open pull requests or anything like that. And so we did that. So that's great. That's pretty exciting, right? So one other thing I can show you right now is that, of course, with any repo, you may have different branches, and that's what this is for. So we have the branch listed here, and if I open this up, then I actually get sort of the similar UI that you saw before, more or less, where you have the different branches. And this is the current branch that I'm connected to, the Kevin V5 examples. But all I have to do is I can just go here and, obviously I can search for branch or filter, but I can click on any other branch. I can go and let's say I want to import all the examples. And then I can say connect branch. And by the way, all this stuff, it tells you how many files and folders and things have been selected and all that stuff. But I'm just going to pull it all in now.
Oh, that's
It's a good
taking a
time to remember
second.
you
Hey,
left the
look.
stove
That
on.
will take a little longer. That's true.
Hey,
Yeah.
Matt.
Matt says,
Merry
hello,
Christmas.
pals. Merry Christmas. Hey, Matt.
Oh,
Merry
Matt.
Christmas
Hey,
to
Matt.
you
Hey, Matt.
too.
Merry Christmas.
Matt, you're seeing all the things that we've probably talked about like a year ago. Like, hey,
Oh,
this would
and
be cool
more.
to add
Yeah.
to the studio.
Yeah, I think Matt's names were on some of the branches that we saw in the list and stuff. So anyway, so yeah, it took a little longer to pull these in, but it did a lot of magic here. So it pulled in a lot of machines,
Wow.
and so then and you have all these, and then what you can do is you can just go into the list of machines again, or sorry, list of branches again, and you see that this one's the current one now. This is the connected one. So you're going to see all of the ones that you previously connected to right up at the top here. You can switch between them, or you can choose a whole new one to do that with. And that's basically allowing you to work with multiple branches in your repo, switch back and forth as you want to, and even open up pull requests against any of those branches at any time. So as I said, we're about to release this, but in the very near future, so really soon after, we're going to be able to do other cool things like allow you to modify the selection of the files and folders that you have connected for any branch. So we have that file tree, and you can say, you know what, I forgot I have a whole bunch of machines over in this folder. I'm going to add these as well, or I don't really care about these other ones. I'm going to deselect that. So you're going to be able to do that very, very soon. And then in the future, I mean, there are other great ideas that we are tossing around. One of them could be providing a little bit more granular control over the pull requests creation, in terms of which edits to include, or maybe to break things into distinct commits. These are all possible things. And, this is where we're going to love to get your feedback on the feature once we release it. And there's nothing stopping us potentially from even creating like a whole repo, from a normal Stately Studio project. In the future. So just some things to think about. So to recap, we're able to bidirectionally work with XState machines using everything you have in GitHub, the VS Code extension, and Stately Studio, really kind of creating a very nice like integrated developer experience between all of those tools and all of their power. The days of the copying and the pasting and the exporting the code and re-importing the code are soon to be over, which is exciting. And again, like I said, it's in beta, but we really want to hear your real life stories of using it with your existing repos or create new repos and connect everything and let us know how it goes. We're really excited to keep on developing this further. And I can tell you this is something that I've loved contributing with the team, with Nick and others, to build out and to work with. And we really think that you're going to love this too.
It's fantastic. So Cedric asks, I asked the question, but I know the answer. Is it working with Azure GitHub too?
We do want to hear what providers you want us to support. I know people have been asking for Bitbucket, GitLab, and man, Azure. We haven't used that one in a while, Gavin. But yeah. Let us know.
Unpopular opinion. I love Azure repos. I'm a big fan. I'd like to see support.
We'd love to hear your suggestions. If you want to let us know on discord.stately.ai, if you go to our Discord server and let us know what you would want to use it with if you are not a GitHub person yourself, that would be great to know. Joseph says, yes. Thanks, Kevin. And Martin says, this is awesome.
Yeah, thanks for watching. This is really fun feature.
Before we jump onto the next thing that we wanted to share, I'm just going to jump up to some questions that we haven't answered yet. And the first one is, and this is after, David, you were demoing your sequence diagrams, I believe. Dean asked, noob question, how does one add a child actor in the visualizer?
Yeah, so in the visualizer, remember that visualizers visualize what's currently going on in your code base. So it's not like you're actually physically editing a machine or an actor system. But in XState's terms, when you invoke or spawn an actor, then that's what's going to create that child actor and automatically be visualized there. When you use stately inspect, though, for pretty much any app, whether you're using XState or not, there's going to be an inspector.actor method that you could just say, hey, here's a new actor. And so that's going to allow you to easily create sequence diagrams showing many actors talking to each other.
And Dean, there is no such thing as a noob question. Like, we all have varying experience in different areas, and so all questions are valid and welcome. And that goes for any of the questions that you lot have about stately index state. Priska asks, for the inspector, it's npm I.
Oh,
Would that be stately AI / inspect?
Let me, I'm going to make a banner real quick just to help you out.
Fabulous.
Oops, I added a P before the npm. Maybe that's a preferable way of doing it. I don't know. PNPM I at stately AI / inspect. Yes.
I love you pushing your agenda, David. I support it. PNPM is great.
Yeah.
So next up, yet another cool new feature. This is sources. Now, this is something we've been working on for quite a while, isn't it, David?
Yes. So my AI generated machine, it finished. It didn't just finish. It finished, a while ago. But yeah, it successfully made this a Santa delivery machine. And I'll be quick here, but it's a simple machine. We're preparing. So Santa's preparing the sleigh with presents, loading the sleigh loaded. So basically I asked, how do you, oh, wow, there's even a condition for—
He's waiting for weather.
If it's bad weather, then we have to, you know what, I'll just go here. This is bad weather. And then we have to—
Overloaded.
Yeah, wow. Santa actually has to, consider all of these edge cases. You thought it was simple, but no. Santa delivering presents is a very, very complex operation. So, yeah. But you could see, and this is one of the really awesome features of our AI generation, is that we're not just generating diagrams or graphs, we're also generating places where you could add implementation too, such as guards, actions, etc. So pretty soon, you'll notice that we're in the dev environment over here, but pretty soon you will be able to have a new experience for actions and invocations and guards, where before it was just text, and of course it is still just text. You could add an action and just do whatever over here. But now if you click the edit button to the right, you will see a code editor over here. So you could just do whatever you want. In this case, we're loading the sleigh though, so I'm just going to make this an assign action and put sleigh. I'm just going to have it, what is it? Array 100.fill present, something like that. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want it to be. And of course, remember that we could still add all of our presents and things like that. And it actually makes it really easy to add to context schema. So presents delivered, total presents. Here, let's just set total presents to 100. That's not very many kids. I don't know how many kids there are in the world, so we're going to estimate 100. All right, so when we go to the code view, those sources actually end up directly in the code. So you can see we have a lot of code over here. Here we go. Here's my load sleigh action. We have assign total presents 100, and yeah. So this basically allows you to both import and export actual code for your actions, your actors, and your guards. So everything is pretty much going to work the same way. So if is bad weather, we're going to be optimistic and return false over here. And so now when we go back to our code, it's going to just say that there's no bad weather.
Awesome.
It's Christmas. Why would there be bad weather on Christmas? So yeah, we
That's so cool.
This tiny editor will be super useful.
Yeah, so
yes.
we have so many things, updates to make over here. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to select pre-existing actions, actors, and guards from here, and we're also going to make it so that you could basically drag and drop them directly onto the canvas. So it's just going to be a really awesome experience to actually get your real life application logic working directly in the state machines that you visually create. And then when you deploy it, it will actually use those implementations that you've provided. And of course, with GitHub Sync, if you, for example, want type safety or you want to use your own libraries, there's nothing stopping you. You could use it from the comfort of your own IDE.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's so choice. That's huge. We talked a big game about having the state charts visualized and acting as a single source of truth. And we can finally see that happening now that we've got our own editor built into the studio. And with GitHub Sync, it's just going to be like everything I've been shaking trees about for a while now. So I'm very excited that the team pulled it all together. Also, the deployment step. Oh.
Yes, if you didn't know, for pro users, we have Stately Sky Deploys, which is in beta. You create an API key, and then you could use this within your own applications.
And that ties perfectly in with Gordon's question here. Speaking of deployment, what are your favorite ways to deploy state machines? Docker? K8?
Kubernetes. Not saying that that's my favorite way to deploy a state machine. And this is actually an important note that one of our biggest goals at stately.ai is that we think that state machines are a really great way for authoring your workflows, your business logic processes, whatever. So if you do want to use state machines in the backend to model those things, we feel that you shouldn't be locked into a specific specific provider or anything like that. You should be able to run it however you want to. And so with that said, if you go to statelyai/xstate, and don't type this in, just click over here, examples, you're going to see a lot of examples on basically how to use state machines in the backend too. Gavin has been working on a bunch of examples, such as using state machines with MongoDB to persist states, or even there's an Express, like a mini simple workflow engine. And so you could basically deploy this anywhere. And the philosophy of, or sorry, not the philosophy, but the main concept of state machines is that when you want to continue a workflow at a specific state, you don't need to like replay a long list of events or try to cover everything that the developer is doing in the code. Instead, you just say, hey, this was my previous state, load it in, and here's the event that was received, calculate the next state. And we feel that scales pretty well. And it's very simple, which means you don't need any custom infrastructure in order to do that. You could choose your own infrastructure and run these state machine powered workflows wherever you want.
Right. Plus one of that, one thing I really do like from like a workflows perspective and a backend perspective, I'm actually working on a Cloudflare example right now, is that we've been, Angela, I promise I haven't been holding out. I've been sliding stuff in. We're going to get a release, I promise. But specifically the ability to run this wherever, because we're unopinionated, means that we have to build a lot of features into like XState Prime as a result. So things like if you're thinking about a serverless context, for example, you can see, insert cloud vendor here has a way to execute triggers, right? But do you need that, or could you just build it into the core source yourself with XState and stately tooling? So things like event-based triggers, which we literally are as a state charts drafting library. That is what XState does. Things like timers as well. So if you have cron-based jobs that you don't want to rely wholly on a cloud vendor or provider to do that, you can definitely do that with this lovely example we've got. Oh, nope, that's not a timer based, but same diff. Yeah, we definitely do have events that do adhere to timers and cron and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on right now, just getting out that guidance. Who was that who asked? Gordon? Yeah, getting out that guidance to talk about like deployment strats and how to do XState here. Or XState on Y is the title I've been trying to push for a while, but no one's grabbed it yet. So I'm going to ask the community, if you like the idea of XState on Y, you let me know.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah, this is XState on Netlify, XState on Vercel, XState on AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, all of those things. Oh, Cloudflare, of course. Just we want you to run your state machines anywhere.
Yeah, that's the huge part.
David, while you're still sharing your screen, Joseph mentioned I've been trying to make the most of the 1,000 AI generations a month. It is wild to give it just Pacman and then get a pretty accurate state machine back. Demo it again soon. So I reckon, can you just give us a little quick demo? Maybe you could do Pacman, or
Yes.
is that I would
Yeah,
say
sure.
Festive Pacman, but I'm not sure what a Festive Pacman would be.
Yeah, you know what? Festive holiday season Pacman. I have no idea what that's going to be. But while that's generating, I guess I could quickly talk about the roadmap, and we could go through that real quick. And I use
Great.
TL Draw because I really love TL Draw. Which has been in the news for good reasons lately. But yeah, we have released a lot in 2023, and this is more specifically the second half of 2023, where we had our big Stately Studio 2.0 release a couple months ago. We have introduced AI generation and assistance, and there's a lot more coming there. You can now import, right now you could import Redux, Sustan, XData, and in the future, just any other app logic. And of course, export to React, which I have been using a lot just because it makes it really simple to create prototypes or even starters for the state machines that you create and have it in a tangible environments where you can actually play around with it. Stately Sky, XState version 5, and the 3 things we still have in progress for this year, which we are releasing soon. GitHub Sync, like you saw, Action Actor Guard Sources, which you saw too, and Stately Inspector, which is silently released. You all know about it, but we are going to make a couple improvements and give it a more formal release next year, but it is available. So what's coming in 2024? Well, the red means good. I'm just trying to be festive because Christmas. I don't know why I put red, but these aren't exactly new features. These are just improvements. We're going to be improving on the existing features we have with the ultimate goal of being the best visual collaborative source of truth for your app logic and workflows. And that's really our goal for what we want Stately to be for you. And so with that, we're going to be making a lot of updates to the Stately extension. A lot of you have noticed that the Stately extension does not match the current Stately Studio online, and it will. So we are working on that, along with Canvas improvements, and maybe something to do with TL Draw. We'll see. Improved XState version 5 support in the studio. We have a lot of ideas for improved AI assistance to make making workflows and state machines a lot easier. And also to help you improve the state machines and workflows that you make, and also improved imports and exports. We have a lot of things to add there, such as a lot of people have been asking for exporting to PNG or SVG, and we want you to import from a lot more sources, such as mermaid diagrams and things like that.
Very cool.
I love this. Yeah. You're
Here's
missing
a
something,
question.
David. Oh, so sorry, Laura. I was saying,
No,
David,
you
you're missing
continue,
something
Gavin.
from 2023 there, David. You're missing the auto layout improvements that you yourself are single-handedly responsible for. I wanted to shout that out. It's kind of massive.
Yes. So yeah, we did of course make a lot of auto layout improvements. And there's a lot more coming. Yeah. We want you to be able to like make partial auto layouts and just really customize how the machines are laid out. Do we have a Festive Pacman? Yeah, we do. Okay, let's see. So we're on the main menu. Sorry, I'm like distracted. Playing Holiday Cheer, the special festive state where Pacman might have special abilities or encounters.
Nice.
Very interesting. You could eat a ghost, eat a power pellet, game over. So there you go. There is your Pacman state machine.
There we go. Now we know what Festive Pacman did. Kieran asks, is the desktop version a part of the 2024 plan? WebStorm user here, hoping to get something integrated.
So I don't know about a desktop version yet. However, when working with the Stately extension, we are basically also working on Stately Studio and having it be basically RPC, where you could edit things in your IDE of choice and potentially communicate via WebSockets to another instance that's listening. So this is the way that the extension will work naturally, and so we will just make it so that that could be like a website, a browser instance, or something like that. And so you'll basically have the same features. So yeah, not sure yet. We do want to support WebStorm users. Honors on our team is also a WebStorm user. So yeah,
There are
we have
dozens
some
of you.
ideas for that.
It is one of our biggest feature requests that we have had. Jumping back
Definitely.
to some of the earlier questions that we had, Cedric asks, is it possible to have more complex types in the context, maybe by importing them or similar?
In the future, it will be. So right now, our types are pretty simple. You could add a context schema, a string. You can't see this, but it says string, number, Boolean, array, and object. But in the near future, we do want to have full supports for JSON schema in context, event schemas, and all of the other parts of the app or of your state charts.
And a question from Ramiro, X-state parent states question. I can hit a final state internally and transition with an on done. How would I handle on error situations?
See, parent states, hit a final state internally, transition with an on done. Ask us in the Discord. This might be a little bit more of a detailed answer, but yeah, if you are tuning in and you're not aware of our Discord, we have a Discord at this. There we go.
Discord.stately.ai.
Yes. And we're always happy to answer your questions there. It's basically like free support for X-State.
Yeah, we are. The team is on there all day long. We're very active on there. So if you do have any questions, make sure you jump into our help channel.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another one? Oh, yes. Alex asks, can guards assign new data to the machine state? If not, what strategy should be used?
That's a good question. So typically, no. With state machines, and this isn't an X-state limitation, it's just a fundamental restriction of state machines where guards have one job, which is to tell you, here's where you go next. So, you could do something like second state, and then you could add an action like an entry action, and this would be assigned to something. And then you could have an event list. Oops. Well, demoing the feature unintentionally. You could have an eventless transition where you could just say if something is true, something like that, then you would automatically go here. And so this might seem like, why do we have this extra state that's doing, nothing? But, well, it's not doing nothing. It's just automatically transitioning to this other state. So other state, if some condition is true. But if you think of it like a flowchart, this would be your choice node. So, or like the combination of these two would be your choice node. So your little diamond, however diamond's supposed to look, and it would transition directly to that state if this condition is true. If it's not, you could, of course, transition somewhere else, which, by the way, tiny little feature that Nick worked on. This arrow over here makes it really easy to add a new transition somewhere. So you could easily just do that.
Oh, sick. I didn't know about this. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's very handy.
Oh,
Could have some serious fun with this.
yeah. All the control flow. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone has any more questions that they want to ask us, you can join us if you're live on YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitch. If you ask a question, we'll be able to see it and share it on here and answer it for you. Team, is there anything else that we wanted to mention this week? We've covered a huge amount. I can't believe how quickly the time has flown today. I think that's that's plenty there.
Yeah. Albert Yu just said on done with guards is what he does currently. Yes, I've done that as well when I'm dealing with, okay, after this service invocation, where do I need to go next? I personally think it reads really well when looking at it in terms of a visualization.
Absolutely. Yeah, services equals actors for anyone who is joining us in the V5 version of Backstate.
Everything is an actor. Services are actors. You're an actor.
Yeah, I appreciate this, Zoramil. Yeah, I'm pretty much glued to Discord, so I'm
So there's almost everyone every time somebody there to answer Zoramil's questions.
That's awesome. Angelo's
and Angelo says, "Merry Christmas, team."
Merry Christmas. I'm a fan
Merry
of
Christmas to all of you who celebrate.
Yep, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. We'll definitely see you in 2024. But not until then.
We'll be back. I'm hoping very soon, early in 2024, we'll have another office hours for you. Oh, Cedric says thank you. Enjoy Christmas. And Joseph says, great updates. Thanks, Stately people. Enjoy your holidays. So if you want to find out when the next office hours will be, I would very much recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel with statelyai on YouTube, or follow us on LinkedIn. They both get set up there automatically as events, and you will be notified as soon as we have a new live stream planned. You can also follow us on all of our social media channels. We are pretty much everywhere at statelyai. Hey, if there's a social media platform that you think we should be on, let us know. We might check it out. And if you follow us, you'll be able to find out there. And of course, you can join our Discord, which is discord.stately.ai. And all of our updates will be posted in there as well. Anything else that anyone on the team wanted to share today?
Not for me.
Thanks for a great year. Thanks for a great 2023.
Yeah, thank you everyone so much. Thank you especially to those of you who join us live for these office hours videos. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate your questions. We really appreciate your comments and your feedback. You make these live streams what they are. So thank you so much for joining us for all of these office hours that we had in 2023. And we look forward to seeing you all in 2024. Goodbye.